So I've been going back and forth with which option do I want to go with. Supercharged, twin turbos, single turbo. And the path I chose and what I chose to go with on the GT, I'm gonna go with What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back here to another video. If this is your first time watching, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell icon. So a couple videos back, it was the video I believe I did the install on the Corsa cooler intake. I was dropping hints that I made up my mind on which direction and route I want to go in regards to what boost application I was going to go with on the car. I have made up my mind with that. So we are gonna discuss that and the reason why I chose the routes I'm gonna go down. I'm about 95% certain this is what I'm going to do, because obviously when the time comes you may or may not change your mind. So we're gonna go take this out on some back roads, and then we're gonna break down and discuss what I decided to do in regards to what application for boost we're going with on the GT. Alright, so I made it out here to Eagle Canyon Raceway, which is just right over that ridge up there. Honestly, I thought it was closed today. I was just gonna drive out in this direction, but apparently it's open and you can do your sessions on the track. But that's not why I drove out here. I just drove out here because it's obviously, like you saw, there's a lot of nice twist and turn country back roads out here, and it's a good spot to park. So what I was wanting to discuss today was what I brought up a couple of videos ago. Like I said, once I did the install with the Corsa cooler intake, I'm gonna go boost within around this time next year, hopefully sooner. Supercharger, twin turbos. Nitrous was maybe a possibility, but my mind was between supercharger or twin turbos. It might be a little bit hard to hear sometimes because the car's on the track, so if it's hard to hear me, well, that's why. So obviously with the GT500, I had the VMP Gen 2R supercharger. I had a Mustang before that I had nitrous on. I ran 125 shot of nitrous on that. And I've also had cars that I've had turbos on, but I've never had a turbocharged V8. So I've been going back and forth with which option do I want to go with. Supercharged, twin turbos, single turbo. And the path I chose and what I chose to go with on the GT, I'm gonna go with twin turbos. And here's why. You don't see a ton 5.0 Coyotes that chose to go with twin turbos. The majority of them are either Pro Chargers, top mount, root style superchargers, and there's a reason for that. A lot of those are a lot easier to install, they're a lot easier to tune, a lot easier to maintain, they're a lot more reliable, all of course depending on how it's tuned. So ultimately, then, why am I going the route of twin turbos? Honestly, I don't really have a legit reason for that, because I think there's multiple. One reason is, like I said, not a lot of people run twin turbos. I guess mainly it's not an application I've ever had on a V8, especially twin turbos. I ran turbocharged cars years ago in the past, but one thing I've never done, I've never taken a naturally aspirated car and boosted it. Now that's even with superchargers, twin turbos. Obviously the GT500 I had comes factory supercharged, and I just upgraded it from there. My other cars, I throw nitrous on them because the naturally aspirated cars, because it's just easier, it's cheaper, more cost effective. That's why I've done that. That's why I've gone that route previously before in the past. So twin turbo V8 is not something I've ever had before. And secondly, I like how they sound. I like turbo sounds, I like turbo noises. And also too, the tunability that you get when going twin turbo, you have a lot more options to tune them, and they're a lot easier to tune, to swap out. You know, instead of swapping out pulley sizes going up and down, you got to go under the hood, you got to swap out your pulley, you got to pulley up, pulley down, swap your tunes, all that kind of shit. So when you go in twin turbos, you can have multiple fuel maps. You could have, you know, fuel map for E85, you could have a fuel map for 93, and then you could have multiple fuel maps for 93 and E85. So all at basically a button. You can hit a, you know, and it's just easier to swap back and forth between tunes when you have twin turbos. So that's another reason why I want to go that route. And like I said, I've never had it. I want to do something I've never done before with the GT500 that was supercharged. I don't want to get the same type of blower I had on the GT500. Now ProChargers are easy to install, but if people have ran ProChargers before, they know that you can have issues when it comes, I believe it's the crank. It can have issues with the crank. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've never had a ProCharger before, but you can have issues when it comes to ProChargers in regards to that. So yeah, I've talked ProCharger before, the option of going ProCharger. There's also the option of going the ESS route. Those kits are tried and true, and no one, as far as I know, has had anything but positive things to say about the ESS kits. That was another option to go around, but at the end of the day, I keep going back to possibly, if I go boost, I want to go twins. I talk about ProCharger, I talk about Supercharger in the back of my mind. Ultimately, the main thing I've always wanted to go for was twins. And I made a video before in the past that if you decide to go a whatever boost application, stick with that application. Don't put something on, spend $5, $6, $7, $8, $10,000, and then a year or two decide that you want to change your mind and go a different route. So that's why I want twin turbo, because ultimately down the line, this car, I'm going to have a full drag setup. It's going to be eventually a drag built car eventually. I priced out what it would cost to supercharge the car. I priced out what it would cost to twin turbo the car, cost of install on both of them, and honestly, going the route of twin turbos is only an estimated, roughly, just for the cost of install, roughly $25 more than if I went with a blower. So what am I going to do in the meantime between now and then? Obviously, headers isn't a good financial choice, because if you go long tube headers and you decide to go twin turbos, you're going to have to rip all that stuff out anyway. So that's why I haven't talked much lately about installing long tube headers, because in the back of my mind I was like, I want to go twin turbos. So you install long tube headers and then you eventually want to go twin turbos. That's $1,500 to $2,000 down the drain, because you got to pull all that stuff off to put on the twin turbos, because obviously you don't use those things for twins. Now if you go top mount supercharger, you go an ESS kit, you go ProCharger, obviously you can hang on and retain all those things. But ultimately, like I said, I've always wanted to turn something into a boosted application, and I think this is the perfect setup for that. It's the 10R80. It's a 2023. Oh, sorry, 2022. Either way, it's the same thing. It's a 2022. I've never converted a car from a naturally aspirated to a boosted application, so the whole process for me to do that is going to be new and exciting. It's not going to be something I've done before, and I'm going to have it all here on the channel for all of you to see. So that for me is exciting. It's a new process, and it's a new path I haven't gone down before. So in the meantime, like I said, in regards to what I plan on doing between now and then, gonna get a drag tire. I've said that before in the previous car. I'm gonna get tires, but before all that, I'm gonna get a tune. I'm gonna get tuned, possibly Palm Beach dyno. Not 100% set on that yet, but I'm kind of leaning toward Palm Beach. Now for turbo applications, I'm leaning towards Hellion. So Hellion, if you guys are watching and you guys want to have a partnership, I would love to work with you guys. So if you guys are watching, definitely send me an email. My email is triggersociety12@gmail.com. On3 Performance, you guys are watching, I love to work with you. Send me an email. Hopefully we can work something out. I had to step in the car. It's getting humid. So I'm also, all I have on the car right now is X-Pipe. So I'm gonna be installing exhaust. I really like the Corsa Extreme. I know a lot of people have it and it's like outdone, but to me, I don't care. It's not something I've had before. So I'm gonna be doing exhaust. Already have the X-Pipe. Gonna go tune. And honestly, performance-wise, before I go twin turbo, I'm not 100% sure what I might do in regards to that. Suspension upgrades, that kind of stuff, obviously. But yeah, so that's the route I'm going. Really excited about it. It's not going to be cheap, but neither is going supercharger. When you convert a naturally aspirated car to either option you choose to go with, it's not going to be cheap either way. So it's the road less traveled. To me, it's more fun. It sounds cool, and yeah, it's something I haven't had before, so I'm looking forward to it.